Good morning, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Today, another Monday, I'm going to be starting off the Sutta discussion, and this is going to be 68 Monday Sutta discussion. And we started this discussion series way before the pandemic, and I think it was started as early as 2019, I guess, in February. And thank you for staying tuned with us for this long time. I think there are a lot of things that you've been learning from these discussions, and I think that you are benefiting from these talks. Today I'm going to be talking the central teaching of Buddhism. This is the central teaching, but I will be talking further about this central teaching in different two ways. Let's first take a look at the topic. What does Paticcasamuppāda, we call it dependent arising, discuss? So the central teaching of Buddhism is Paṭiccasamuppada, dependent arising. That means every being, everything is perpetually arising and perpetually ceasing. This is the central teaching of Buddhism. So what does Paticcasamuppada, in English we call dependent arising, discuss? There are two choices, not two choices, there are two things that we are going to be looking at. Paticcasamuppada's perspective, Dukkha, we call it dissatisfaction, or the Dukkhakkhandha, we call it whole mass suffering. Now, this is very interesting because a lot of people, they do not pay attention to Dukkhakkhandha, unlikely, towards Dukkha. They think Dukkha is what Paṭiccasamuppada is all about, but Paṭiccasamuppada primarily talks about Dukkhakkhandha. We call it whole mass suffering in English. So we're going to be reading a sutta, one of the best suttas in the canon, that is Paticcasamuppada Sutta, which is in Abhisamaya Samyutta. This is the 12th Samyutta, which has a lot of teachings about the central teaching of Buddhism. So this is very interesting. And there are a couple suttas about Paticcasamuppada, or dependent origination or dependent rising. There are other names for this central teaching, what we call Paticcasamuppada by Pali. Dependent origination, interdependent co-arising, condition arising, condition genesis, dependent arising, which I translated today, interdependent origination, or co-arising. So all these translations work good for this Pali term called Paticcasamuppada, or the central teaching of Buddhism. Now, first let's take a look at the sutta first, and then we'll talk. Paticcasamuppada. What is Paticcasamuppada, and what does it discuss? What does it basically mean, and how does it delineate the whole phenomena and everything. So let's take a look at a Pali reading first. Once again, I want to mention to you that today's sutta is going to be Paticcasamuppada Sutta, which is going to be under Abhisamaya Samyutta 12.1. Evaṁ me sutaṁ ekaṁ samayam bhagavā sāvattiyam viharati jetavane anātha pindikassa ārāme tatrako bhagavā bhikkhu āmantesi bhikkhavoti bhadanteti te bhikkhu bhagavato paccasosum bhagavā etadabocha. So this is the background story. Thus have I heard, On one occasion, the Blessed One, that means the Buddha, was dwelling at Savatthi, which is the capital city in Kosala, state Kosala, in Jeta's Grove, Anathapindika's park. So this gentleman was the one who constructed this temple. Anathapindika, he was a banker. There, the Blessed One, or the Buddha, addressed the bhikkhus thus. Bhikkhus are monks. Venerable Sir, and those monks replied to the Buddha, Venerable Sir. The Blessed One, or the Buddha, said this, bhikkhus, Paticcasamuppadan vu bhikkhave desissami tang sunata sadukang manasi karota basissamiti evang bhanteti kote bhikkhu bhagavato paccasosum bhagava etadavocha. Monks, I will teach you Paticcasamuppada, which means the central teaching of Buddhism, dependent origination in English. Listen to that and attend closely. So you need to listen to it very closely, very mindfully. I will speak. And the monk said, yes, Venerable Sir. Those bhikkhus replied, the Blessed One said this. This is the Paticcasamuppada that Buddha is going to be sharing with us. In Pali, Katamocha bhikkhave Paticcasamuppada. Okay, and what, monks, is Paticcasamuppada, dependent origination. Avijja paccaya bhikkhave sankhara. Sankhara paccaya vijnanam. Vijnana paccaya namarupam. Namarupa paccaya salayatana. Salayatana paccaya passu. Passa paccaya vedana. Vedana paccaya tanha. Tanha paccaya upadana. Upadana paccaya bhavu. Bhava paccaya jati. Jati paccaya jaramarana. Soka parideva dukkha domana supayasa sambhavanti. Evametassa kevalassa Dukkhakkhandhassa samudayo hoti. Ayang uchchati bhikkhave Paticcasamuppada. And what, monks, is dependent origination. Now, as I told you at the beginning, the central teaching of Buddhism is, Buddha says that every being, everything, every phenomenon perpetually arises and perpetually ceases. Nothing is absolute. Everything is dependent on something else. And the result, let's say there's a cause for something, and that is linked to the result, and the result is linked to the cause, back again. So you can separate out, they all are linked. But please keep in mind, this does not mean any fatalistic perspective. That means everything is determined. No, because you can change the course so that you will get the result, the way that how you acted upon, how you spoke, how you thought. But everything is perpetually changing all the time, even the results, even the courses. So let's take a look at how the how the dependent origination, how do the things get conditioned, right, all the time. But keep in mind, there's no one cause. Now in Buddhism, there's no one cause, one particular cause. That's why this happens. Like in other religions, we know that there is one cause. That's why things start coming. But in Buddhism, there's no one cause. So you have to keep in mind, there's no one cause because it's such condition. But technically, Buddha takes one cause as the first, but it's not the first cause. But just to give people a technical idea, that's why he takes something as the first cause. But it's not the first cause. I would say it's technically giving an idea about the condition process. With ignorance as condition, we call it avijja. Avijja is ignorance. We will discuss what is avijja and all these. There are 12 parts of this teaching. We will discuss them after. Avijja, because of avijja, with ignorance as condition, volitional formations come to be. So because of avijja, there comes to be sankhara. We call it sankhara. Now, avijja, and then avijja, because of avijja, so because of with ignorance as condition, volitional formations come to be. So volitional formations, they are conditioned by avijja. That means if because I have avijja, I am I am fabricated or formed or conditioned. I am struggling with volitional formations called sankhara. And then what does sankhara condition? Sankhara paccaya vijnanam. With volitional formations as condition, consciousness, so this process continues, and we call it vijnana paccaya nama rupa. So after volitional formations condition consciousness, then consciousness conditions something else. So this process goes on. So consciousness conditions nama and rupa, name and form. And nama rupa paccaya salayatana. So name and form, with name and form as condition, the six sense bases. So those salayatanas, they are conditioned by nama and rupa. And then what happens? Salayatana paccaya passo. With the six sense bases as condition, contact. So contact is conditioned by six sense bases. Passa paccaya vedana. With contact as condition, feeling. So feelings is always conditioned by contact. Vedana paccaya tanha. With feeling as condition, craving. So craving is always conditioned by feeling. Vedana paccaya tanha, then what happens is that with feeling as condition, craving. So that means craving is conditioned by feeling, and then tanha paccaya upadana, with craving as condition, clinging. So then what happens is that because you struggle with craving, and that craving influences, I would say, clinging is the next process, next thing that results when you have craving. And then what happens? This clinging is conditioned by craving. Upadana paccaya bhavo, with clinging as condition, existence. So existence is conditioned by clinging. Bhava paccaya jati, with existence as condition, birth. So birth is always conditioned by existence. Jati paccaya chara marana soka parideva dukkha domanassu payasa sambhavanti. So that is a straight line. So with birth as condition, aging and death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, displeasure and despair come to be. So all these things like aging, death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, displeasure and despair, they all are conditioned by birth. So because we were born, then what happens? So the resultant things like aging, death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, displeasure and despair, they all are, which are the results of birth, but the results are always conditioned by the birth. Eva metassa kevalassa Dukkhakkhandhassa samudaya. Now Buddha calls these different conditions at different points. I would say there are 12 conditions starting from avijja, sankhara, vijnana, namarupa, salayatana, passa, vedana, tanha, upadana, bhava, jati, jara marana, right? All that. So there are 12 main, I would say, parts of this whole chain, right? So they each are conditioned by each other perpetually. Now Buddha calls such is the origin of this whole mass of suffering. So Buddha calls all these 12 links to be whole mass of suffering. I would say Dukkhakkhandha, that's our topic. So what does Paticcasamuppada dependent arising discuss? The central teaching discuss Dukkha or the Dukkhakkhandha. Now I would say Paticcasamuppada discusses Dukkhakkhandha, which means whole man's suffering. Now, for those who only take it as Dukkha, I wouldn't say it's a good, practical way of understanding, because Buddha clearly says that this is Dukkhakkhandha, not Dukkha. Dukkhakkhandha means that Dukkha could be something that is temporary in one life, I would say, because of avijja. Avijja simply means not knowing the Four Noble Truths, and there is Dukkha. But see what happens because of not knowing the Four Noble Truths. There is a bunch of sufferings are to be, experienced after that, avijja. So this whole mass suffering is called Dukkhakkhandha. So Paṭiccasamuppada deals with Dukkhakkhandha. And then what happens, let's take the other part of the sutta. Avijja yatveva asesa viraga nirodho, sankhara nirodho, sankhara nirodho viññāna nirodho, viññāna nirodho nāma-rūpa nirodho, nāma-rūpa nirodho salayatana nirodho, salayatana nirodho passa nirodho, passa nirodho vedana nirodho, vedana nirodho tanha nirodho, tanha nirodho upadana nirodho, upadana nirodho bhava nirodho, bhava nirodho jati nirodho, jati nirodho. There's one point I was missing. Tanha, this has to be not nirodha, actually. I had to say not nirodha, nirodha. So I had to read back. Avijja yatveva asesa viraga nirodha, sankhara nirodho. Sankhara nirodha, viññāna nirodho. Viññāna nirodha, nāma-rūpa nirodho. Nāma-rūpa nirodha, salayatana nirodho. Salayatana nirodha, passa nirodho. Passa nirodha, vedana nirodho. Vedana nirodha, tanha nirodho. Tanha nirodha, upadana nirodho. Upadana nirodha, bhava nirodho. Bhava nirodha, jati nirodho. Jati nirodha, chara maranam, soka parideva, dukkha domanassu pāyasa nirucchanti. Eva metassa kevalassa dukkhakkhandassa nirodho hotiti. Now, what does this part mean? Now, the previous part means the origin of the Dukkhakkhandha, which means the whole mass suffering. But this part means the reverse order. In the reverse order, what does Buddha say is that Buddha is trying to say how we can eliminate this whole mass suffering. Okay? Let's take a look at the English translation. But with the remainderless fading away and cessation of ignorance. But with the remainderless fading away and cessation of ignorance. That means what we have to do sort of a process to overcome all these links, to cut the chain of samsara. This is the chain of samsara. We have to cut it. In order to cut it, one has to achieve a state of remainderless fading away. So this is very interesting. But with the remainderless fading away and cessation of ignorance comes cessation of volitional formation. So because when you eliminate, eliminate ignorance, without any residue, without any, any remainder, then what happens? The rest of the components of the Paticcasamuppada automatically goes away. And I would say the better wording is cease. They're all going to cease. But with the remainderless fading away and cessation of ignorance comes cessation of volitional formations. With the cessation of volitional formations, cessation of consciousness. With the cessation of consciousness, cessation of name and form. With the cessation of name and form, cessation of the six sense bases. With the cessation of the six sense bases, cessation of contact. With the cessation of contact, cessation of feeling. With the cessation of feeling, cessation of craving. with the cessation of craving, cessation of clinging. So see, every part of the perpetual arising going to be cease, because you cease the first part, that is avijja, so the rest will be naturally cease. That's how it happens. With the cessation of craving, cessation of clinging. With the cessation of clinging, cessation of existence. With the cessation of existence, cessation of birth. With the cessation of birth, aging and death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, displeasure, and despair cease. So this is the most important thing. We never like them to continue as a real Buddhist, but we have to sort of be careful in understanding the opposite. Such is the cessation of this whole mass of suffering. Now, then what happens? Idamocha bhagava attamanate bhikkhu bhagavato bhasitang abhinandanti. The monks were happy. This is what the Blessed One said, elated, those bhikkhus delighted in the Blessed One's statement. Now everybody knows what is dependent origination or Paticcasamuppada, the central teaching, and how it perpetually arises and then ceases. But the most important thing that we need to understand is that we need to understand each component in a better way, as well as the real context of this teaching. So basically we know if we can understand the relationships between the phenomena that sustain dukkha, that is the path to Nibbana. So if you do not understand the relationship between different components, I would say this is the dukkha. This is how dukkha forms. This is how dukkha arises. This whole thing, because this is primarily, this is basically, mainly a psychological process, right? This is a psychological process. So with that in mind, let's take a look at this Paṭiccasamuppada teaching in more details. Now, as you can see, there is a clear word here called paticca. So what is paticca? Conditionality. So I would like to discuss Paṭiccasamuppada, or the central teaching of Buddhism, in a couple ways. By the ways of conditionality, or ontologically, as a working of mind, and epistemologically. So basically, if you can see the conditionality of this concept called Paṭiccasamuppada, conditionality happens. We call it paccayas in Pali. Paccaya is conditions. Let's say, how do the Dhamma matters, factors get conditioned? There are 24 conditionalities, paccayas. Now, even in the Paṭiccasamuppada, how do these components get conditioned is totally depend on these conditionalities. So there are 24 conditionalities. So I would like to share with you, those 24 modes of conditionalities. I would say understanding of these paccayas, which you call 24 paccayas, is very important, because not even in the context of Paṭiccasamuppada, but even with the other Dhamma concept. Let's say if you talk about Eightfold Noble Path, if you talk about jhanic factors, if you talk about seven Bojjhangas, so the connection between each Dhamma factor happens with or because of these paccayas. We call them conditionalities. Even when you have a skillful mind, I would say wholesome mind, without lobha dosa moha, or the opposite, they all happen being conditioned from one of these paccayas. Let's take a look at what they are. The first one is hetu paccaya. Hetu paccaya is one of the modes of conditionalities called root condition. Now, what is root condition? Now, when you want to do a good thing, let's say you want to offer dana, then what happens? your root condition, your alobha, adosa, amoha, they are conditioned in a way we call hetu-paccaya. So this is one type of conditionalities. Let's say when you have a mind with alobha, dosa, amoha, there we clearly see that conditioning is hetu-paccaya, sort of type of conditioning, root condition. Second paccaya is arammana, object. We know when we take external subjects through our senses, they are objects. Sometimes those objects going to be more powerful than our internal senses. So at that point, those objects play, they condition your senses. Adipati is predominant. This is one of the other ways of conditioning. Anantara, it's called priority. Samantara, contiguity. Sahajata, connaissance. Anyamanya, mutuality. Sometimes some two Dhamma factors are conditioning something at the same time. Say lobha dosa conditioning something else, or alobha dosa conditioning something else at the same time. So they are mutual conditionalities. Nissaya, support. Upanissaya, decisive support. Sometimes your good or bad decision, I would say Dhamma thoughts can be conditioned by a decisive support through another Dhamma matter. Purejata, pre-nascence. Paccajata, post-nascence. Asevana, repetition. Sometimes some Dhamma matters can be repetitively conditioned. Karma, how does karma works being conditioned. And vipaka, how does karmic result work as a condition. Ahara, food. Indriya is sense faculties. How do our sense faculties work each other? Sometimes some of your objects are being taken by couple senses, and then what is the connection between couple senses? So that conditionality. Jhana, what's the connection between jhanic factors like vitakka, vichara, piti, sukha, ekaggata, so on and so forth. Magga, it is also one of the conditionalities when you see the Eightfold Noble Path. So what is the conditionality between each component? Samadhi, samma sankappa, vacha kammanta, ajiva vayama, sati samadhi, panya. So what is the condition? What is the conditionality between each each components of that path? That is also one of the conditionalities or paccayas. Sampayutta, dissociation. Vipayutta, presence. So magga, sampayutta, vipayutta, association and dissociation. And atti, natti. Atti is presence, natti is absence. Vigata is disappearance, and avigata is non-disappearance. So all these are paccayas. So all these are conditionalities. So they condition Dhamma factors differently. So we have to understand how Dhamma factors can be conditioned. So if you don't understand how the conditioning process happens, you might not understand how do Dhamma factors help us in our spiritual path. So the reason why I want to share with you these conditionalities is that when you say paticca, that is conditionality. So when you want to understand Paticcasamuppada, in other words, central teaching of Buddhism, you must understand, you must read these 24 paccayas, but these are mentioned in the Abhidhamma, but it doesn't matter. I don't think Abhidhamma is a very difficult teaching to understand. I shared with you these 24 paccayas. Maybe I can sort of share with you a descriptive list of these 24 paccayas later under this video. Anyways, don't worry about it. Now we want to go back to Paticcasamuppada, because we've been talking Paticcasamuppada in the perspective of conditionalities. That's why I used these 24 paccayas. Also, we can look at Paticcasamuppada or dependent origination in the aspect of ontological, perspective. What is being ontological? Ontological basically means it is based on karmic type of teachings. I know when you talk about Paticcasamuppada, we can't miss out on karma, because karma is always linked to Paticcasamuppada, because the reason is Paticcasamuppada, in the process of Paticcasamuppada, in the contents of the Paticcasamuppada, we see that karma is what is going through all along these components. So please keep in mind, karma is what we see inside of these components of the Paticcasamuppada. And also, we call these 12 as nidanas. So nidana means a Pali term that has been given by Theravada tradition. Basically, there are a couple suttas which discuss the Paticcasamuppada from Nidana perspective. Now, there is a small issue. The small issue, I think a lot of people might not know, the number of Nidanas, or I would say number of components of the Paticcasamuppada is kind of different from one sutta to other suttas in some suttas. Now, for example, some people might think that Buddha always gave a substantial list like these 12 nidanas or 12 components everywhere in the teachings, but it seems not that way. Now, if you take a look at Brahmajala Sutta in the Digha Nikaya, Buddha only teaches 6 nidanas, 6 components, or 6 6 things, 6 components. We don't see the 12 components in that sutta. So that's something we have to think about. Why we don't see the usual 12 nidanas, which you call those 12 components of Paticcasamuppada in the Brahmajala Sutta. Why Buddha only gave 6 nidanas? And the most famous sutta about, one of the most famous suttas about Paticcasamuppada, then again in Digha Nikaya, called Mahapadana, we only see 10 nidanas. So why there are 2 missing components? So this is kind of another question. And again, in the Mahanidana Sutta, a lot of people talk about Paticcasamuppada in great details. We see only 9 nidanas. So there's one component missing, even from Mahapadana Sutta. In the Mahanidana Sutta, Buddha only talks about 9 nidanas. So that's interesting too, because why there is not the usual list of 12 components in these Brahmajala, Mahapadana and Mahanidana Suttas, but only in the Samyutta Nikaya, 12th Samyutta, which you call Abhisamaya Samyutta, we can see a full sequence of 12 nidanas or 12 links of Paticcasamuppada. So the full elaborate teaching of Paticcasamuppada can only be seen in the Samyutta Nikaya. So scholars have some arguments. The Buddhist scholars, they have different arguments about why this difference of Paticcasamuppada can be seen in the suttas. They say it could be, this is not expressed out of faith, but out of trust. But their scholarly academic workings primarily focus on this number could be an addition at a later time, but they have different thoughts. But anyways, we still take this 12 links, or the full sequence of 12 links teaching as the most correct teaching of Paticcasamuppada in the Buddhist teachings. And you also need to know that this list is linear. Now, in the Kamma, we say that karmic process is not linear, it's non-linear. And I gave a talk about karma is not linear. based on the Mahakamma Vibhanga Sutta few years back. But when you understand Paticcasamuppada, those 12 nidanas, so nidana means another name for the components, links of these 12, those nidanas or those 12 elements, they are not non-linear, they are linear. So they are, in other words, they are mentally conditioned, links. So now it's the perfect time to understand these each component, which you call nidanas, separately. Now, the sutta that we've been talking today does not provide any elaboration of the individual component. But if you turn to the next sutta, which you call Vibhanga Sutta, in other words, we call Paticcasamuppāda Vibhanga Sutta 12.2, it provides an elaborate teaching of what these 12 nidanas are. So that's a perfect place to understand what they are. So the first component or nidana is avijja. Now the sutta says, what is avijja? Let's take a look at what is avijja. Avijja simply means, but the thing is like, the sutta explains from the reverse order. Let's take a look at how the sutta explains the reverse order. Katamancha bhikkave jara maranam ya tesang sattanam tamhi sattanikaye jara jiranata kandiccham paliccam valitta chata ayuno sanghani indriyanam paripaku ayang bucchati jara. Because jara marana is the last component, last nidana. That's why the sutta starts with this particular sutta, elaborative sutta starts from the final one, because that's what we've been experiencing now. So people can understand how this whole mass suffering arose. So basically it says jara marana simply means any aging, any changes of the body, ripened hairs, wrinkles, maturity of your senses, and this is called jara, right? And then what is marana? Katamancha bhikkave marana. Now I would say you have to understand. Now I've been reading from the 12th nidana. Okay, so the 12th nidana is jara marana. So basically jara jara means aging. I would say seeing ripened hairs, getting ripened hairs, and then wrinkles, maturity of senses, and all this is called jara. And marana means katamancha bhikkave maranam ya tesang sattanam tamha sattanikaya chuti chavanata bhedu antaradhanam machu maranam kalakiriya kandhanam bedu kalibarasa nikkepo jivitindriya supacchedu idang uchati maranam iti ayancha jara idancha maranam idang uchati bhikkave jara marana. So it basically means any death, any leaving from your 5 aggregates, basically the death of any form, that is called marana, right? So jara marana is what we see as the last component, we call last nidana. And then why do these both happen? It is because jati. Katama, that's the 11th nidana. Katamacha bhikkave jati ya tesang sattanam tamhi sattanikaye jati sanjati okkanti nibbatti abhinibbatti kandhanam patubhavo ayatananam patilabo ayang uchati bhikkave jati. That means any type of birth in any jati. It could be an animal, could be a deva, it could be a human, it could be anyone in one of the 3 worlds. That is called jati. Now, these are the things that are going to be seized when you approach jara marana levels after that, right? Katamocha bhikkhave bhavo, because bhava resolves jati, right? So katamocha bhikkhave bhavo, tayomi bhikkhave bhava, kamo bhavo, kama bhavo, rupa bhavo, arupa bhavo. So basically, bhava basically means three types of existence: kama bhava, sensual existence; rupa bhava, material existence; arupa bhava, immaterial existence. So these are the cosmological worlds that we know, especially not from the cosmological point, but from a kind of a spiritual based world. That is bhava, which means the 10th component, 10th nidana. Then katamancha bhikkhave upadana. What is upadana? What is clinging? Chattarimani bhikkhave upadana. Kama upadana, dittupadana, silabbatupadana, attavadupadana, idang uchati bhikkhave upadana. Clinging simply means 4 types of clinging. We have to take a look at these 4. Kamupadana means clinging to sensual pleasures, sensuality. Dittupadana means clinging to views. It's a clinging to, right? People are clinging to views, right, in their mindsets. Silabbatupadana means clinging to rites and rituals. Some people, they cling to rites and rituals. Now basically silabbatupadana means by definition people who think taking precepts and only taking care of the precept will give them everything. So that is right, clinging to rites and rituals, because sila is not just a precept. It is something much bigger than precept. So you have to take precept, but you have to sort of work towards a kind of a larger, broader area of this practice called sila. Attavadupadana means clinging to self-views, right? So these are called clingings, 4 types of clinging. When you want to know what is clinging in the Paticcasamuppada, that clinging is these 4 types of clinging. Clinging to sensual pleasures, sensuality, clinging to views, clinging to rites and rituals, clinging to self-views. So tanha conditions upadana. So the next one is, if you want to see why upadana arises, that is tanha. Katamacha bhikkhave tanha, chaime bhikkhave tanha kaya, rupa tanha, saddha tanha, gandha tanha, rasa tanha, pottabha tanha, dhamma tanha. So that means there are 6 types of tanha. So now a lot of people know craving to be 3 kind of cravings, like kama, rupa, bhava, but basically tanha in the Paticcasamuppada means 6 types of craving. That means tanha for sights or images, saddha tanha means tanha for sounds, gandha tanha means tanha for smell, rasa tanha means tanha for taste, pottabha tanha means tanha for contact, dhamma tanha means tanha or craving for thoughts. So these are the 6 types of craving that is in the Paticcasamuppada. And Vedana conditions tanha. What is Vedana? Chaime bhikkhave Vedana kaya, chakku sampassaja Vedana, sota sampassaja Vedana, ghana sampassaja Vedana, jivha sampassaja Vedana, kaya sampassaja Vedana, mano sampassaja Vedana, ayang uchati bhikkhave Vedana. So normally we know Vedana feeling is threefold: sukha, dukkha, dukkha, sukha, but that is not this type of dukkha, Vedana, which the Paticcasamuppada discusses. Paticcasamuppada discusses feeling from 6 angles, 6 ways. Basically, it means chakku sampassaja Vedana. So, feeling based on the contact of chakku. That means eyes. Sota sampassaja Vedana, feelings that one gains from sounds. Ghana sampassaja Vedana, feelings one gains from from smell. Jivha sampasaja vedana, feelings one gains from basically tongue. Or kaya sampasaja vedana, feelings one gains from the body. Mano sampasaja vedana, feelings one gains from the mind. So these are the 6 types of feelings, and there we don't see those 3 types of feelings: sukha, pleasure feeling, or dukkha, or painful feeling, or adukkha sukha, neutral feeling. We don't see that teaching under Vedana here in the Paticcasamuppada. And then what is passa? Because passa, contact, conditions Vedana, feeling. There are 6 types of contact. Chaime bhikkave passakaya, chakku sampasaja vedana, passakaya, chakku sampasso, sota sampasso, ghana sampasso, jivha sampasso, kaya sampasso, mano sampasso. That means, because we know contact produces feeling, that's why there are 6 types of contacts, which means eye contact, ear contact, nose contact, tongue contact, body contact, and mind contact. And then katamancha bhikkave salayatana. What is which you call sense basis? Chakkayatana, sotayatana, chakkayatanang, sotayatanang, ghanayatanang, jivhayatanang, kayayatanang, manayatanang. Simply means sense basis called eye, ear, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. And then namarupa, because namarupa, mind and matter conditions, 6 sense basis. What is namarupa? Vedana, sanya, chetana, passo, manasikara. So we have to keep in mind that, interestingly, namarupa does not simply mean those 4 types of namas, because we know rupas basically means chattarocha mahabhuta, right? Chatunnancha mahabhuta nang upadaya rupangidam. So rupa simply means those 4 rupas, those 4 elements, patavi, apo, tejo, vayu, right? But what is nama? Nama means vedana, feeling, sanya, formation, and chetana, volition, and passo, which means contact, and manasikaro, right? So those are the contents of nama. So nama rupa means these particular Dhamma factors. And then vinyana, because vinyana, consciousness, conditions nama rupa. Chaime bhikkave vinyana kaya, chakku vinyanang, sota vinyanang, ghana vinyanang, jivha vinyanang, kaya vinyanang, mano vinyanang. So basic teaching of the 6 consciousnesses. And then sankhara conditions vinyana. Tayome bhikkave sankhara, kaya sankharo, vachi sankharo, chitta sankhara. There are 3 types of sankharas. They are bodily fabrications, vachi sankhara, verbal fabrications or formations, chitta sankhara, mind fabrications. And then the first type of, I wouldn't say it's the first type, but basically technically we have to say it's first, because ignorance conditions sankhara. Katamacha bhikkave avijja, yanko bhikkave dukkhe ajnanam, dukkha samudaya ajnanam, dukkha nirodhe ajnanam, dukkha nirodha gaminiya patipadaya ajnanam, ayam uchati bhikkave avijja. So it basically means ignorant of the 4 noble truths is avijja. So that is technically the main reason why we are experiencing sankhara, vinyana, namarupa, salayatana, passa, vedana, tanha, upadana, jati, bhava, jati, jara, marana, and then everything. So these 12 nidana. So you have to keep that in mind. All these happens because we do not try understanding the path to, I would say, understand the 4 noble truths. So 4 noble truths have to be understood in 12 ways. We call them Tipari Vata Dvadasakara. So every truth, every noble truth has to be understood in 3 ways. Satyajnana, Krutajnana, Krutyajnana. So let's say the first truth called, noble truth called Dukkha Arya Satcha. It has to be understood in three ways: Satya Jnana, Kruta Jnana, Krutya Jnana, Kruta Jnana. The rest is the same. So now you basically understands that these 12 nidanas play a bigger role and how they arise, being conditioned each other. And before I finish, the discussion, I want to share with you one more thing. That is, how can we know these 12 components in our life? That's why we have to sort of see an elaborate teaching that is mentioned in the commentaries, I would say, by Buddha Ghoshas and other people. Now, there we see that there are 3 times that have been allocated to understand these 12 nidanas. So first, we can see 2 nidanas in the past, avijja and sankhara, and 7 nidanas in the present time, viññāna, nama, rupa, salayatana, passa, vedana, tanha, upadana, bhava. So we can sort of experience them in this life, and because of these 7, and we see jati and jara marana in the future. But on the other hand, we can also see that there are 5 causes and then 5 results. There are 5 causes that we didn't know that we did in the past lives. Because of that, we experience them now. And we also doing 5 causes in this life, which we will be experiencing back in the next life. That's why we call there are 5 causes. The 5 causes are that we don't know how we did them. I mean, those nidanas, we call them nidanas. Avijja, sankhara, tanha, upadana, and bhava. So we must have done them in a previous life. That's why now we are experiencing the results. These are 5 nidanas. What are the 5 nidanas that we are experiencing now? Viññāna, nama, rupa, salayatana, passa, and vedana. And we are also creating another 5 causes, which we call 5 nidanas for the future life that we will be reborning. What are they? They are the same 5 causes we must have done in the previous life. What are they? Once again, avijja, sankhara, tanha, upadana, and bhava. As a result of that, what will happen to us is that we will be experiencing 5 results in a previous life. Sorry, in a future life. What are they? Viññāna, nama, rupa, salayatana, passa, vedana, tanha, upadana. Sorry, viññāna, nama, rupa, salayatana, passa, vedana. Right? So that's why it says 5 causes were there in the past that we must have done. 5 fruits for 5 results we find in present life. 5 causes do we now produce for the future life. 5 fruits we reap in future life. So now we can understand why and how does this whole mass suffering, Dukkhakkhandha, influence us in our sansaric journey. So basically what we have to understand from Paticcasamuppada teaching is that I think all these links or nidanas arise and cease time to time because I understand is that the defilements that we do not properly understand all the time, they cheat us in this samsara. So because they don't give us a time to understand what they are really about. So we need to understand this psychological process and then treat each nidanas, and then we will eliminate the Dukkhakkhandha, whole mass suffering. So that is the main thing that I want to share with you. So I hope that you learn the main reason or main primary reason of Paticcasamuppada teaching is Dukkhakkhandha, not just Dukkha. So, and then you got a sense of what these 12 components of called Nidana are, and different other teachings related to Paticcasamuppada. Okay, let's share. I can see a question. How can mindfulness meditation guide us to have good, happy thoughts at the moment of death, since many people are scared and confused at the moment of death? I would encourage you to watch one of my discussions I done with the Professor Karyavasam under Dhamma Pariyesana in our YouTube channel, Paṭisota YouTube channel. I will reply to you after this talk. Let's share all these good karmas with the departed relatives and the deities. May all the good karmas be shared by all the departed relatives who passed away in the name of all of us. I recently knew, 2 days ago, I knew that one of my very closest friends died in Sri Lanka a few months ago. I don't know, and I really want to remember her because she has helped me a lot while I was a student. So may all the good karmas be shared by my friend. Her name is Nirmali Amarasiri, who worked for the American Center in Colombo, Sri Lanka, and all the other departed relatives who passed away in the name of all of us. May they be happy and peaceful. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idam me ñāti nang hotu sukhita huntu ñāteyu. Idam me ñāti nang hotu sukhita huntu ñāteyu. Idam me ñāti nang hotu sukhita huntu ñāteyu. Let's share all the good karmas with the Devas and Nagas who protect and bless all of us. May the Devas and Nagas share in all these good karmas. May they bless all of us, everybody in this universe. May they be happy and peaceful. May they also attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavata cha ammehi sambatang punya sampadang. Sabbe deva anumodantu, sabbe bhuta anumodantu, sabbe satta anumodantu, sabba sampatti sindhya. Akasattha cha bummattha deva naga mahintika. Punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkang tuluka sasanang. Chirang rakkang tudesanang. Chirang rakkang tumang paranti. Finally, let's make a great wish. May all the good karmas we've been collecting, accumulating so far, help all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana silisse nichang vadha pachayino. Chattaro dhamma vadhanti ayuvannu sukhang balang. Ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha. Ato nibbana sampatti iminati saminjatu. Before closing, I wanna tell you about the interview that I will be doing with Professor Karyavasam this Wednesday, Wednesday morning from our time 9 a.m. This is gonna be a kind of a personal interview about his life and his learning from his life as an academician, as a practitioner as well. So I welcome all of you, invite all of you to join with us on Wednesday on Paṭisota YouTube channel at 9 a.m. from Ottawa time. It's going to be 9 p.m. On Wednesday from Malaysia, and I guess 8 p.m. From Bangkok time, Thailand. And I also think it's going to be at 6:30 from Colombo time, Sri Lanka. Thank you. Have a good night. Take care.